Recording is on.
Hello and welcome to the DXDAO BizDev call from Monday, September 27th, 2021. So on the agenda today, I think we first have a few new member introductions, and then we have a couple of teams from the AnyType team that are here that are going to share. So I met Jana from AnyType, and we'll talk about this in a bit. But I think this is a very interesting fit for DXDAO. Then we have a couple of discussions about Swapper, an update for the Badger collaboration. Possibly if we have enough time, the MCon review and mainnet and preparing for East Lisbon. Do you want to start us off, Melanie, with the introductions?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Hey, everyone, we do have a few new member introductions today. I'd like to first introduce Smoot, if you're on. It'd be great if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, just like your area of expertise, some of your past work, and then how you found out about DXDAO.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Smoot, and I'm a product designer from Nigeria. I've been working on Web3. I've been working in Web3 space for about 2 years now, but generally I have about 4+ years of experience designing products, etc. So I previously worked with U Protocol. I don't know how many of you are familiar with U Protocol. Yeah, so I worked with Peppo in creating a note-taking tool to kind of improve collaborations with team members and everything. Then I also worked on the governance tool with Peppo that I don't know a lot about. I didn't get a lot of details about what the governance tool was supposed to do. It just gave me a vague idea, and I came up with something pretty good, I think. Yeah. So I came across the DXDAO about a couple of months ago, and I was actually looking at taking a role, applying for a role. Then Peppo reached out to me that I wanted to introduce me to Geronimo. And yeah, I started talking with Geronimo. I was like, oh my God, it's from DXDAO. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to how I can contribute to the community and create, wonderful products. And yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Well, welcome.
Welcome.
And then we did have another introduction, Sundeep. I think he was able to join the dev call last week, but just wanted to welcome you here at the BizDev call to the rest of the community. So if you would like to just introduce yourself really quickly, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your past work, and how you found out about DXDAO.
Yeah, sure. Hey, everyone. My name is Sandeep. I'm from India. Worked as a Web2 developer for the past 5 years at various industries, healthcare, fintech, and mostly freelancing. My expertise is towards React, Node, basically a full stack developer. I came to know about blockchain at the year of 2017 when Bitcoin reached its all-time high at that year. So I started, researching about what a blockchain was and how Ethereum worked and etc. Took me a lot of years to, self-learn about how smart contracts work and everything, but never got the chance to work at any project because my Web2 fundamentals weren't there. So that's how I started learning everything and landed at some freelance contracts at 2021, especially with XTI team. I am one of the core contributors at OmniBridge, helping around on the front end side, as well as did some bounties and subcraft development for Harmony blockchain. So that's that. Now I came across Swapper with the help of Perion DAO. If someone doesn't know, it's actually a co-node owning platform. If you do not have enough stake to become a validator on your own. So if you want to become a co-validator, you can just join the DAO and stake your extra stake. So that's how I came to know about Swapper, and eventually about DXDAO. I came to know about Melanie and just joined via there. So yeah, that's me. Really happy to be talking with you all, and it's a privilege to be here. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Well, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. I think we have the dev call that could be interesting for you to join, which is the same time tomorrow. And yeah, like, would be awesome to see you contributing.
Pleasure's mine, Nathan. Thanks.
Anyone else, Melanie?
That's it for today. I don't think anybody else is new.
All right. Awesome. So I guess so for the next we have a partner presentation of Anytype, and I think like Anytype has been mentioned in the our Keybase chats. I think, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 times across the past 2 years. I was, I think Geronimo first mentioned it, and then I was kind of following them, and then about a month and a half ago, they started. I saw that they are opening up for alpha testers, and yeah, I basically applied and I got on a call with them. Kind of like got into like the testing program, and since then, yeah, I managed to get on a call with Jana from Anytype, and then and with Anton, and I think there's so many good things that kind of like intersect between the ethos of DXDAO and Anytype, and like this is, I really hope we can figure out like a valuable collaboration between the two organizations. And I think I've spoken for too long anyway, so I'll give the stage to Jana and Anton, and anyone else from Anytype. Yeah, basically take the stage and present.
Great.
Thank you so much for this intro. We are very excited to be here because we're actually building the new operating system for sovereign individuals and communities. And this is exactly the sovereign community. And we would love to share the vision of how, like, where we go, and see if it's exciting for you, and how we can maybe go together. So how we want to approach this? I would like first to share a very short presentation about what Anytype is, and cover also a few concepts that you need to know to be able to use Anytype to its full advantage. And then Ender, our community manager, will show Anytype Alpha, showing what kind of things and how you can create in Anytype today.
And it would be right to ask how much time we have for this presentation, so to be on time.
Yeah, so usually we have about 15 to 20 minutes for each presentation, but I think take your time in that 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll have like another 10 minutes for questions, because I think there will be a lot. So I think there's gonna be a lot of like back and forth.
Great, thanks.
Do you see my screen?
Yeah, we do. Yes.
Okay. So just to start, that our mission is to empower sustainable cooperation, building tools for thought, freedom, and trust, because we deeply believe that cooperation is the single most important thing that allowed us humans to achieve everything that we have in front of our eyes, and the fact that we can have this call today. The computer is the most powerful tool that we ever created, and increasingly many things that we humans do involve software in some way. However, all current software runs on the application metaphor that was born in the 80s. It's in software, you can say it's an ancient metaphor. It was born as a part of Apple Macintosh project when when Apple computers invited external developers to extend the functionality of the operating system. Companies such as Adobe and Microsoft proposed proprietary file formats packed in what they called an application, a standalone piece of software that represented the business unit. And it was on purpose of this walls or proprietary format that the data would be closed inside these walls for companies to be able to make money. In the late in the late 90s, these applications moved into the cloud, creating the web that we know today. And they became proprietary databases that started to store all our objects and entities and the way we connect with other people on various companies' servers. And because developers were storing this information, they became owners of this information. I know this is nothing new for you, just summarizing where we are. But what's wrong with all of that? First of all our objects are scattered, and this is like broken thoughts. You can't connect your own ideas, the information that you know, into your unique like second brain. You have some compartments that basically don't speak to each other. But that's not only this. We have mass surveillance, censorship, and most of all, most of the value has been monopolized by the platform providers that gave us tools to create, but they also own what we create. And we think this is, the realization will come that this is a very bad deal for the creator, and this is not how the software will be done in the future.
Also, very important to add here that it's also current approach for building software is limiting the innovations. I mean, the metaphor of application, if you want to improve one product, we need to create it.
An existing product.
Existing product, we need to recreate from scratch, invite users and whatever. So, but if we just have like simple idea to add, for example, folders in Messenger, we need to recreate everything from scratch, and I think it's completely wrong.
We think that building this kind of building software this way on a global scale, it's a lot of waste of resources, and not a lot of ideas are eventually get funded. So there should be a better way. But a big question remains, can we imagine a world without applications? And with Anytype, we think we can. So Anytype is an operating system for digital objects, and it's built on three innovations. The first innovation is the new metaphor, objects instead of applications. And it just allows people to work with information the way their brains already do. The second innovation is the business model, digital cooperative that would motivate all its contributors, be it users, developers, or designers, to build one product and ecosystem that they collectively own. And finally, it has a new architecture, local first and peer-to-peer, that guarantees user sovereignty over data and gives some performance benefits such as speed of use and the ability to work offline. And it's a good foundation for the business model. That's just that's a vision. It's a 10-year vision, and we go there step by step. And the first step, we call it the sovereign individual. It's a private Anytype for private use cases. This is exactly where we are now. And in order to use this first version of Anytype, you need to understand four concepts, because we are not taking some approach that already exists in software. So we need to introduce some new concepts to enable the user to get full power of Anytype. So the first concept is the concept of an object. Everything inside Anytype is an object. People, locations, dates, books and music and devices, anything you can think about is an object inside Anytype. But the power, of course, of objects comes from the fact that they are all connected into your unique knowledge graph. And knowledge graph is a universal data structure that is a very powerful foundation for all things that will come next, such as automations, machine learning modules, and personal assistants that I hope will finally work like magic, because the data itself is structured. Not only that, Anytype separates data from the interface. So while the interfaces will inevitably change with advances in technology, like maybe in 10 years we have some 3D interfaces or some virtual reality, what's cool is that you can each day, each week, build your own knowledge graph, and in years it becomes stronger and stronger, and it doesn't depend on the interface. It's going to be your like this knowledge base on which new interfaces with which new interfaces can interact. So the second concept important is the concept of a relation. Relations are objects that connect other objects in the graph. They answer a question: what is the meaning of this connection? So here on the in the graph view, this is like these are the names of the arrows that connect these objects. For example, Ridley Scott is connected to Commercial 1984 and Blade Runner with a relation called directed. Of course, in the interface, they look like arrows only in the graph view. In a normal object, they just follow the same structure. For example, Stanley Kubrick is connected to July 26 with a relation called birthday, and with all the movies that he has created with the relation movies. Okay, the third important concept is the concept of object type. We wanted to make sure that objects are different because they are, and object type is answers the question what this object is, and it controls how the object looks and what relation it has. So, for example, tasks, they look like tasks and have relations such as status, assignee, due date, and people, they look like more profiles and they have relations age and profession and friends, and the relation and object types movie would look like a movie and would have movie quality and lengths as its relations. What's cool is that with the same tools that you build your documents and personal pages, you can build your object types. So, for example, if any type is missing some object type, you can with just drag and drop build your own, deciding how it looks and assigning the relations that this object type has. And the final concept is a concept of a set. We call it as an upgrade of databases. A set is a collection of objects that share some relations. It's a part of the graph that you can look like a database, and you can sort, filter, and choose the view for these objects. For example, a set of objects with the type of video is a set of videos, or a set of objects with the type of task is a set of tasks. And I think with the next release, you would be also able to create sets with any shared relation. So, for example, you would be able to create a set of objects with a relation deadline, or a set of objects with tag work. It's just very flexible way that you can manage multiple objects while they stay still as a part of the graph. You can enjoy full capabilities of deciding how best to manage them. That's it. 4 main concepts: object, anything at any type. Objects are connected into a graph. Relations are objects that connect other objects in the graph. Remember these names of the arrows. Types are the objects that define other objects, how they look and what relations they have. Remember how tasks are different from people and from videos. And finally, sets are upgrade to databases. It's a collection of objects that share some relations and that you can sort, filter, and choose a view for. That's all from my side. And now Enda will show a more interesting part of how all of this works inside Anytype Alpha.
Thanks, Shana. Hello, everybody. Can you hear and or see me okay?
Yes.
We can hear you. I don't think we can see you, though.
Fantastic. That's fine. That's
I can see you, so maybe
Yeah.
some can, some can't.
Grand. I just need to give access now so this guy can see my screen. How are we doing on time, by the way?
I think we have 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grand. So we won't get the full demo. How are we doing? Can we see my screen now?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. So on the left, the Anytype desktop application, which is currently available in alpha for Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. On the right, you will see the latest alpha of Anytype running on my Google Pixel, which I'm just streaming to my desktop. And I don't have it on the new iOS emulator. We also have Anytype in a closed version of our closed alpha, which we're testing with about 130 of our users. So this is the main screen for Anytype. This is the dashboard. You'll see there are different tabs to sort through your objects. And as Jana had mentioned earlier, objects are like, I suppose, smaller little applications in and of themselves, and we use relations to connect them together. So I put together just a few sample objects for you guys, and then I can show you how we create new ones. So up in the top right, you will see object which has the type of a profile, a human being, and so we use this for like identifying myself and having profiles for other people. Likewise, we have something similar for companies and for communities, and having obviously links and resources and relations down here, which can be, you know, whatever you want them to be, your headquarters, links, links out to other founders, other objects of other people, and then sets. But I think what we'll do now is the first thing I will show you guys, because we're short on time, is just how easy it is to create a new object. So we can just click plus up here, and we're presented with this screen. And then these are all the different types of objects that we've included with any type. If you create your own, they'll also surface here as well. So let's say we're just going to create one for a book right now, which is just going to be called Sapiens Grants. Okay. So create an object. You're just going to give it a book, give it a cover, make it green. We're going to change the type to a book. So you can change the type of your object whenever you want. So if you start with a draft or you have an idea, you can turn it into a task or have it evolve into a project without losing any of the content or any of your data or any of the relations that are involved. So let's just say, so this is the canvas. It's like a block-based editor. You can have various kinds of texts, lists, media. If you've used Medium or Ghost or I think the latest versions of WordPress, you'd be very used to this sort of drag and drop block-based canvas. You can also / and you can to create new blocks. So let's give this guy like a description. And then we can add a line. And then the next thing we want to do is we can add relations. So I'm trying to create a relation here for a book. So we can just go plus, and we can scroll all the way down, and we can see these relations which Jana just talked about. So because it's a book, we get, sorry, Jana, you were going to say something.
That you can, of course, add other text blocks and pictures and everything else. And specifically focuses that on top of that, you can add different relations now. And because he chose the block, the type book, the relations that are relevant for books are surfaced here.
Yep. If you want to make columns, you can click and drag. You can move anything around that you'd like. We'll just add one more here, just to kind of so you guys get an idea. So these are our relations. Very easy to move and to manipulate. You can see all of the relations inside of your AnyType because an object can have an infinite amount of relations. So if you wanted to see them all, you can click this relations panel, and we can just say rapid fire, go through and add like tags to this. So this is a historical book. This was created by YNH, and we can just search for his name, and we have him down as an object inside of the AnyType. We can give it a tag. We give it a demo. We can add a rating if we want. Makes sense. And let's lie and say that we've finished reading this. So I filled in the relations there. They're now surfaced back on the canvas here. If we want to go back into relations, we can create featured relations, which allow us to, like you saw on the company page or in my profile page, to just highlight the most important relations right up here in the top in the canvas. Let me see if I can just create a link as well. I can just copy and paste this link here. Add a line, and then we just paste this in, create a bookmark. And then there we go. So we have a nice bookmark for Goodreads as well if we want. So these are our, this is a very simple look at the canvas inside of AnyType. And then the relations and the blocks and how you can make pages of your own. Up the top right, we have AnyType syncs peer-to-peer encrypted with your devices. So up in the top right here, you will see the sync status between backup nodes that we're testing as part of Anytype, as part of the alpha program, and then the sync status of this object with other devices.
Something happened with your microphone.
Yeah, you went completely robotic.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I actually am a robot, so that makes sense. Did you lose me, or
It's very
shall I just
difficult to
continue?
hear.
Yeah, you sound a bit like Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
So everything syncs in a peer-to-peer way, and in the sync status, you would be able to see how the object that you're looking at is synced with all the other nodes that are connected. And Anytype currently also comes with the Anytype backup node, and in future you'd be also be able to use your own backup node if you want. But you can use Anytype on other machine as a backup already today.
Okay. So maybe do people have questions now? You might need to reconnect to the GNC. It has bugs sometimes.
Let's allow Enda to reconnect, and we can answer some of the questions if you have any now.
Yeah, so maybe I can fire this up. I think I already discussed this with you guys, but we're looking into sort of like the collaboration aspects of this. And I think also something like from something else to point out is that this is all like self-hosted and runs on like each individual laptop. And then, yeah, how do we figure out sort of the collaborations for this? Like if the DXDAO as a team wants to use this.
Yes, so today we have Anytype as for personal use only, so it works cross-platform. You can you sync all of your data in a peer-to-peer way across all your devices. All the data is stored locally on your machine. All the logic is executed also locally, and then you share the changes in a peer-to-peer way, either for our backup node or directly. Next year is a big year for us. We plan to add publishing and collaboration. So then you would be next year you would be able to use Anytype for your team, for example, or for a community. Anton, you can add more if you want.
I just want to add that this year we focused on the tooling, and the next year you will be able to use this tooling for example, for your DAO. You can create your own forum-like or like wiki-like page and manage it in fully decentralized way, and like a public page. And at the same time, you can create your own private space only for your participants and team members. And and just this is exactly our plans for the next year. And we probably may open some really simple collaboration with like each user has the same
equal rights.
Equal rights for working with objects. If it can work for you, we can open this feature like in a month or two, so you can collaborate, but everyone, so without like strict access control on this. So everyone who has a key to an object can write to it. So this is like not truly secure.
Yeah, because this is what we do for our team internally, plan to do in the last quarter, so that we start testing collaboration. But proper access control rights and proper interface for access control will come only next year.
Yeah, okay. So like I was actually thinking about how to make this possibly collaborative, and we could all use the same sort of key. We can share it between each other, like whoever is in the team, and then we can create pages, and like it won't have like the ability to tag each other or have notifications, but it would still work. So I'm guessing you're talking about doing something similar.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. It only with ability probably to tag people.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Maybe we all can continue presentation. I think Andy is ready.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool.
Hi.
Hi, we hear you.
Am I still a robot?
No,
you good now. But
Ah,
I also wonder
fantastic.
if you guys could also share something like a roadmap for us to get an idea of like where you headed and what the timeline is.
We don't have public roadmap yet, but we plan to release it with our new community forum. We plan to have something like a roadmap. We are really careful with public roadmap because it's really hard to predict when what will be ready, because sometimes we meet unexpected problems, and sometimes it takes much more time than we expect to solve them. This is why it's not there.
But we can anyway share a let's say
General.
like general outline of how we think what's going to happen next quarter and what's going to happen next year. And is showing how you can now create a library out of all your books.
Exactly. Sorry. Yeah. So I didn't really know where to pick up from. So I thought what I would do while everybody was talking was just move from having created one object there, which was a book, to now creating a set of objects for our AnyType. So what I've done is I've just created a new set. You saw the book that we made earlier before I turned into a robot. This is a set which gives you a sort of grid view of all of your objects. Very soon we'll be adding gallery view and list views with Kanban then coming afterwards. And has been a huge upgrade for all of our current users of AnyType who have, for the past year during the alpha program, only had one type of object, and they haven't had a way to sort of manipulate or work with many objects at once. So having sets and then adding these relations has been a huge help for them, and they've been able to create many different types of objects that even we didn't imagine for during the alpha program. So we made a new book. I can just go ahead here and add tags really quickly if I want. And so we haven't even opened this this object once really, but I'm just adding random ratings. Please excuse me. And we can just pop back in, and there we go. They've already been, that's already been filled. If I make changes here, they are of course reflected there. So this is how we use sets and how we can work with many different objects, or even create new objects in line from our grid or from our Kanban very quickly. So the next thing I want to show as part of the demo is just our, oops, back, there we go. Next thing I want to show is just bidirectional links and navigation. So if we open up this object that we made earlier, I'm just going to add another line. And it was our product manager's birthday over the weekend. So I can just go /task, create a new object, which is a task, and say, by Sapiens for Boba. Cool. So we have all these templates built into all of our objects now. So what we can do is we can just fill in these required relations very quickly. And we're going to give this task to Jana, for example. And will that work? Will we just do that? Brilliant. That's linked there as well. And we'll just give this to demo tag as well. Why not? Just to round things out. Cool. So let's create a new task, which is inside of our AnyType. You can see that linked here on the canvas. And if we went to click navigation up here, we would see the bidirectional links for this book. So we can see here we have the book itself. We can go one step forward and it links out to Jana because we've assigned this to her, and it links back then obviously to the book, which is where it was first created. So we can open this task again and we can see it there. This is another one of our layouts inside of AnyType. So in this current alpha, you can have profile views, action views for tasks, basic views for documents, or like as I showed you guys earlier, for communities and for team pages, like I did with this AnyType one. So what's really awesome about sets is because sets are every single object that you have inside of your AnyType. So you can obviously find your objects with these bidirectional links. There's also a very comprehensive search for either the title or the contents of every object up top, or you can pop into the set and then you can see every single, so this is a task list I made earlier, where you can see every single task that's inside of my AnyType. We can do things then like, if we wanted to duplicate this view, and then, I don't know.
So for example, if you have lots of meeting summaries and you drop some tasks there and some tasks there, you don't need to do any extra work. You can go just to your tasks and see, be sure that all of the things that you dropped all over the place are still collected in one, and that you can manage your own workflow, be it get things done or some other way.
Exactly. Okay, so that's
Awesome.
sets, relations, types. I can show you how to create an entirely new object of your own if,
I
say,
think we have
all
like
of these here.
I think we
Yeah.
have
I feel like
out of
I've,
time, and
yeah.
maybe we just can show about keychain phrase and.
Yeah, I would like to have like a few questions, maybe. I don't know, while you're showing it. Anton, maybe you can speak about the stack and what you built and how you built it. And I think you're using IPFS, so how you are using
Yes.
IPFS.
Yes. So we are like using IPFS and peer-to-peer and textile threads as the main backbone for data exchange, and we built our own like middleware on top of it, which is responsible for like for business logic, database, and CRDT like conflict resolution. And so we use two-layered encryption. Basically, your account is encrypted with private key, which is generated on your machine, and all documents like objects use symmetry key cryptography, so that you can also rotate. And almost, not almost, all the business logic written in Golang and compiled in cross-platform library. And this library talks with gRPC, via gRPC with thin clients. So we have native clients, Kotlin on Android, Swift on iOS, and Electron for cross-platform desktop application. So when we started, it was really hard to work with IPFS. However, right now it's alpha is pretty stable and works really seamless. And we are also one of the main contributors into textile threads-DB technology that is also one of the pillars of AnyType. So basically, you don't need to have any cryptocurrency or whatever like to start using AnyType. It just works truly in a peer-to-peer way like a torrent does.
And you don't need to register because the key pair is generated locally on your machine. So it's like everything you expect from peer-to-peer self-hosted and offline first software. It just has an amazing interface and is delightful to use.
Yeah, does anyone else have any questions? Or I can say like some of my thoughts afterwards.
Hi. How would it work with like merge conflicts essentially? So if there was multiple people working on it at the same time, is there a way to deal with that?
Yeah, so we use something like currently, currently we don't have the multiplayer collaboration. We have only collaboration between your own devices, but we already have the foundation for multiplayer. Currently we use something like deterministic merge, and but we store all the changes and all the history. In the case if you don't like the result of how conflict was solved, you can rebuild the version manually because you have an interface the way travel through all the changes you have. And also we plan to solve this, as we know it's a hard problem to solve, and we also plan to solve it via some UI user experience approaches, so which we introduce when we introduce collaboration. Yeah.
So already today you have a full version history through which you can travel, but collaboration would need a separate interface for conflicts that would sometimes arise. What's good is that we have this block-based approach, so the conflict would only be a real conflict if the same block is edited by different people. The rest is is easier to solve.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions?
I'm also happy to show anything on either mobile or desktop. I don't have the chat open, but I can do that as well, I suppose.
Is there?
Yeah. So,
oh, sorry.
I think we're a bit out of time, but I just want to say a few words. I think Anytype is like, speaking to lots of organizations over time, like Anytype seems to be like very, very much in line with like what DXDAO wants to do and build, and from like decentralization, self-sovereignty, and ownership. And yeah, the product itself is it's still an alpha, but I think that in the future this could solve a lot of the problems that we have and had in DXDAO with team collaboration and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know, like I would like to figure out personally, I think like I would like to figure out a way for DXDAO both to be a design partner for this, and also yeah, for an opportunity for DX Ventures to invest. Sorry. So yeah, I don't know. These are kind of like my thoughts. I'm happy to, I don't know, get some more feedback from people, and we can continue this conversation obviously after the call. And yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you
So
for
I think.
Yeah, thank you for opportunity to show our product, and yeah, thank you for having us.
So I think Ross is asking if you can access it from the browser, and I just want to maybe add to like I don't know if you can, but like an app that you have to use a browser and calling someone else's basically web page is inherently, it will never be decentralized. And I think there's going to be some considerable movement towards like self-hosted applications for for all the crypto stuff. Like why would I go to Uniswap to the Uniswap PNS rather than hosting the Uniswap code base where I am, and then not having to rely on anyone else. So that's that.
I just want to add a few final remarks. One is that what you see is just a start, and it's what's cool is that this is a infinitely extendable. We can add new layouts, like all of the things that you see can be added as new interfaces, because the data is in the graph, and you can just extend the interface. And what's cool is that we already have 900 developers who signed up to contribute to Anytype. So that's going to be a big stage for us when we will open source for a public beta. And overall, currently we have 30,000 people waiting for beta, whom we plan to invite next year. And we would love, of course, to have DXDAO as our user, because your all the things that I've read about it really corresponds to all the values that we have at Anytype.
Yeah, so I think Ross is asking if there's an opportunity to build inside.
Yes, this is exactly the thing, that it's extendable. So you all the things like polls and voting and all the, for example, DAO management things can be run inside Anytype. It can be at the same time like a front page of a community and the back office to manage all of this. It currently is not connected to any blockchain, but it's of course will be connected to many protocols. We are starting to talk to different protocols, and we'll see like the roadmap how we will this will be available
It was our basically original idea to create universal front end for different blockchain protocols. So this is the Anytype is built in a way that it's fully compatible with any blockchain.
Yes, we have this crazy idea that because the data is user owned and opened now, we don't need that many windows anymore. That we can have one beautiful window that is infinitely extendable, that external developers can add Lego pieces into it, that we can collaboratively build, and that would be used as both the front pages of all the things that we want and as a back offices of all the things that we need.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. I think we're we're nearing the end of the time for the call.
Thank you so much.
But I think this was interesting, especially for me. So, yeah. So yeah, thank you guys. If no one has any other questions, like we're going to continue to everything else on the agenda. Yeah, I think maybe to rush through it, maybe we can have like a swapper and like the Badger collaboration updates. Sky, maybe?
Yeah, it's not too much to update from the end of last week, but as the next Epoch 2 rolls out, which is happening this week, there's posts up in the forum and there's details being sorted, but this Epoch includes some of our first newer farming collaborations with different projects and different tokens that we see entering and popular in the and with a focus on the Arbitrum ecosystem. And so just in general, yeah, for anyone on the call or in the community, please continue to forward any ideas or interests from different communities that have that could be good partners in upcoming farming collaborations for the different epochs. And so, yeah, we'll see how, we've made some adjustments from the first epoch where there were a handful of tokens that we were focused on, and we're adjusting those to some newer tokens and things like that. So we'll be able to, once this rolls out and launches towards the end of this week, we'll be able to, monitor how like the next epoch goes and then make adjustments from there. So the cool thing about having 2-week epochs is it's very dynamic. The hard part about it is that it's a lot of work and attention to launch new epochs every 2 weeks. But yeah, that's all kind of the main focus on Arbitrum, but then also this can also happen on XDAI and mainnet as well as the farming rolls out there.
Awesome. Thanks, Kai. We have a point here about the fast exits for the bridge. Do you want to talk about this now?
Yeah, that was something that we've been discussing. The product team has been discussing, but like from a like collaboration with different tools in the ecosystem, we've also been discussing, because figuring there's currently the way this ecosystem works is like lots of people are doing all different things from their own perspective, and there's no really great one place where you can see what all the options are and use those options and things like that. And I believe that that is what the goal around, you know, the swapper experience is when it comes to bridges. And so we're also talking to and reaching out to any of the bridge options that exist. Some of those are fast withdrawals. Some of those are going to be one-off unique ones. I think with like the way Maker will have an ability to withdraw, potentially Aave as well. And so figuring out how to integrate all of the relevant options into what we're calling the swapper bridge is not easy, but if we can figure it out, I think that the swapper bridge becomes a really important tool for anyone in the Arbitrum mainnet ecosystem. And then it actually extends to more than just Arbitrum. It extends to like any bridge that DXDAO is interested in, which is super cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Awesome. Yeah. So do you think like realistically could sort of like the swapper could become, I don't know, a cross-chain exchange? I mean, it already is, but to be used like by everyone? I don't know.
Well, cross-chain transactions where like you say you're on, you know, one chain and you say, I want to sell ETH for DAI, and
get that DAI on Arbitrum.
And yeah, like gets you that DAI on another chain. That's like next level stuff, which that I think is clearly being thought about, and some people are playing around with it, but that experience is definitely trickier. And then there's like, you know, there's core principles and core security around different chains. And so if you start going cross chain, how do you make sure that the user is aware of the security around those chains when you're like doing cross-chain swaps? Like you might want some asset, but you don't want that asset on some chain that you're not comfortable with. So you have to kind of give preferences of what chains a user is comfortable with and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Swapper v3 maybe. Yeah. I just wanted to say, like, maybe going back to the previous topic, Jana and Anton, I'm going to open like a Telegram group between DXDAO and Anytype where we can continue the conversation there. So that's that. And I think we have like one other main topic on the agenda, and it's maybe a summary of mainnet and MCon, which maybe John touched on a little bit at the beginning of the call, but I don't know, John, Sky, Chris, do you guys want to share more information?
Yeah, I can just say some brief words about MCon, but MCon was the first, I guess it's the first like DAO focused in-person event that I have seen. And so I think that you will start seeing more and more of this. And there's so many different topics within the Ethereum ecosystem or the blockchain ecosystem that you will start to have events and conferences and yeah, with very more narrow focused things around community and decentralization and DAOs. And so I think more and more DXDAO will have a presence in those events and can be a leader in that space. And everyone kind of knew DAOs were coming, but a lot of people just talk about DAOs and coordination now, and DXDAO is doing it in a unique way, and so stands out versus a bunch of the other experiments of how other people are doing it. And there were interesting conversations, like, you know, people from significant DAO tooling projects in the space that, you know, publicly say like they don't believe in reputation, and there's a bunch of reasons why. And then there's DXDAO who's doing governance based on reputation. And so there's lots of different opinions in the space, and I guess we'll see over time how that plays out. And I think part of it might be like the definition of reputation, right? Like DXDAO's reputation is proven on-chain contribution to the DXDAO ecosystem is how you get reputation. And then there's if someone just says the word reputation, like I believe in reputational governance, like there can be other definitions for reputation, like what you think of a certain person or something like that. And so defining what those are, and I think that will be a popular topic in Lisbon as well. So we can talk about it internally at the retreat, but we can also talk about it at the events a lot and things too.
Yeah, I think we need to do we need to do a lot more in I don't know, spreading the gospel of reputation and what it means and non-transferable voting power. And yeah.
Yeah, I think DXDAO has a lot of opportunities to be engaged in the conversation, because I think in reality, when you go to especially in mainnet, and I think MCon to some degree as well, like a lot of who's up there talking are more at a pretty superficial level, like folks that are engaging people on Twitter and maybe get a lot of followers, but they're sort of just, either like parroting some kind of buzzwords and stuff rather than being true practitioners of what's going on. And I think the folks we have here, we have far and away more experience than 95% of the folks that are talking about this stuff. And I think it's an opportunity for us to engage and start leading the conversation, whether it's about the legal aspects of what's going on, treasury management, deployment processes, DAO tooling, all of that. We're very deep and could easily be speaking at conferences about this stuff. And I think we need to find ways to start getting out there and talking more. And I think Lisbon will be a great opportunity for us to kind of do that, kind of jumpstart that internally.
Yeah, and just quickly, I completely agree with what John said about both the corporate kind of feel of mainnet, and then also the who's kind of up there speaking and maybe missing some actual experience in those areas. But in terms of the actual interesting conversations or narrative at mainnet, it was pretty clear all about a multi-chain future that relies on the next generation of blockchains, whether that be Ethereum layer 2s or Avalanche or Terra, any of the others, and then also what the bridges are that are connecting them. And so in a lot of ways, I know that's where we're really living day to day, is that multi-chain world and kind of moving to layer 2 and Arbitrum. And I think one of the most interesting conversations we had was with the guys at Connext. They have a cross-chain liquidity solution. And so maybe some interesting things there. But by and large, the conversation was really dominated by this multi-chain future that relies on these bridges.
Awesome. Yeah, so thanks for that. And I mean, I just had a realization that maybe we should rebrand reputation to NFT based governance, and then just create a set of untransferable NFTs and just call it NFT based governance, and everybody's going to be oh, whoa, what is this?
You're saying NFTs are cooler than DAOs?
Just everybody's talking about NFTs, so
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, is people end up just talking about what people are talking about, whether or not there's any substance. And I think it's smart to just kind of stick to your guns, and these things will ebb and flow, and one thing will be cool this week, and something else will be cool next week.
I was joking, obviously, but yeah.
And the people that are the hype men and hype women of today are going to be nothing come the next bear market. We just got to stick to our guns and keep building. And that long-term strategy, I think, wins in the end.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. But I think, just defining further what reputation means to us and then disseminating that information further, I think will make a big difference, because, in all of this, there's the question of what's a DAO, and it appears to look different for a lot of different people. So defining what is a DAO to us, I think it's pretty clear how important decentralization is, and maintaining that, and so I think just defining all of those further and then disseminating them further will be really exciting.
Yeah, I think what kind of like John and Chris was sort of alluding to is that a lot of people are talking about DAOs from like the outside. They never actually participated, never actually done anything, or someone gave them an airdrop and then they're a part of this or that DAO. So and then they want to become thought leaders, so they I don't know, they go on lengthy medium posts or conference talks, but without really understanding what it is or how to approach it.
Yeah, like to put it kind of concretely as an example, I had a conversation with somebody at the Graph party in New York, and he was like, "Oh, I'm starting this DAO. Is this like community? I forget what it was, like some community in New York." And I was like, "Oh, what platform are you going to use to have you picked one, or what platform is the DAO going to run on?" And he was like, "Well, like Telegram or Discord." And so, I was thinking like, okay, like, you're going to use Snapshot, like multi-sig. Like I was thinking, what are you doing on chain? He was on like a totally different wavelength, right? Like being like, oh, like Telegram or Discord. And so then I had a conversation with him about like the merits of using either of those platforms for a community. But it's like that, like, the greater public, like most people that are talking about DAOs on Twitter and stuff, they're just like on a totally different wavelength, right? And like we'll meet them at some point, but yeah, it's useful, I think, to understand that, right? Like like people are operating at different levels.
Yeah. So yeah, and I hope we're going to be talking a lot about this in the retreat before ETH Lisbon, and then kind of like spread the gospel at ETH Lisbon. So yeah, we're a bit over time. Does anyone have anything they want to add? Any questions or comments? Awesome. So I guess thank you all for coming, and thank you guys from Anytype. And as you can see, like DXDAO is very sort of like decentralization maximalist. So yeah.